Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show Just My Thoughts. I'm your host, Eric Daniel Coughlin. Now, I'm going to start off by saying I'm sorry that I never got back to you guys on Saturday. So I did not give you guys my week 2 picks, but I can honestly give you my record for my week 2 picks. I went 7 and 9. It was not very good, which brings up another point. So week 1, I went 9 and 7. I told you guys that I went 8 and 7, which didn't even make sense because that's 15 games, not 16 games. Um, I had obviously miscounted one of my wins, and I went back and recounted. I actually went 9 and 7 first week. Second week I went 7 and 9, so they flipped. It was not that good, but week 2 was kind of more balanced out than I have liked it to be as far as production on the field for a lot of respected teams out there, not mine. We'll get into that a little bit later, but around the league, things are shaping up and looking pretty solid for some people, not so well for others. And so I dropped the ball week 2. I was hoping to have a more impressive record, and in fact, I actually had a worse record in week 2. So which brings me up to the main agenda, the thought tracker of the day. We're going to have week 3 picks. I would love to break down week 2's quarterback stats just like I did in week 1. Unfortunately, every stat tracker that I've been, hunting and searching and going through my search engines and going through, the wheelhouse of what I'm looking for, everything is bringing up a collaborative effort. So it's week 1 and week 2 stats. So I cannot, for the life of me, trust me, I just spent the last hour and a half, 2 hours, trying to find the statistics of week 2, and all I could find was a combination of week 1 and week 2. So since that's going on, I come up with a way to curb that. So the next time I give you guys quarterback stats, it would be week 4. So it'll be, after next week. So what I'm going to do is every month, that's how we're going to break that down. I gave you guys the starter. I'm going to give you guys end of the first month, end of the second month, end of the third month, and so on and so forth until we march into the playoffs. We'll be into the playoffs by the time we get to the fourth set of stats. But I will give you guys this full disclosure, something to keep an eye on, and something that I've already been keeping an eye on for a couple of years now. As far as leading the league in yards and in QBR, Kirk Cousins is at the top of the list right now. He's outperforming every quarterback in the NFL, so that's just something to keep an eye on. Not saying that the Minnesota Vikings are badass, because actually they're 0-2, which is really shocking. They should be 2-0, and Kirk Cousins should probably be considering leaving that team and going to a different team that would make me feel better as far as helping my team win the division. Just saying. I'm just picking on Kirk because Kirk's actually looking pretty incredible. Even though, despite the 0-2 start, he is the number 1 quarterback in the NFL. So that's just giving you guys a little insight on what I'm going to be giving you next week. Like I said, next week will be week 4. At the end of next week, I will give you guys everybody's first month stats, and then we're going to build off from there. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to give you week 3 picks, and we might break down some what I would consider predictions, maybe some hopeful insight. There's a lot of things going on that in the NFL world, not just in the Chicago Bears world, but in the NFL world, period, that we're gonna sum up and we're gonna clean up and we're gonna touch on tonight here on Just My Thoughts. So let's get started. Week 3 NFL matchups and my picks. Here we go. This is nothing but, I do this all the time, I know you guys can't read that, can't see that, but that's week 3 matchups, and I'm going to give you guys the matchups and give you guys my picks. Are you ready? Let's get set. Let's go. So we've got the 49ers versus the Giants. Obviously, I'm leaning on the 49ers. We got the Patriots versus the Jets. That is a division game, and I'm going for Mac Jones, and I'm taking the Patriots over the Jets, only because of the Aaron Rodgers situation. Now, full disclosure, and you guys already know, if you keep up with the show and you watch me religiously, you already know that I had previously picked the Jets to win this division with the understanding and assumption that Aaron Rodgers would be in that division. Now that he's not, I'm going Patriots over the Jets. How you doing? Lions versus the Falcons. I'm taking the Lions, and this is the reason why. I understand that the Falcons are 2-0, and I understand that the Falcons just beat the Packers this weekend. I did not see that coming at all. That was a shocker game to me. And I also understand this. Desmond Ryder is the real deal. He's doing really, really well out there in Atlanta. But I'm still picking the Lions because Amon-Ra St. Brown is the man. Jared Goff is doing his thing, looking good. Jahmyr Gibbs, their rookie running back, is looking like a monster. And you never know what you're going to get out of David Montgomery. That's the reason why Chicago let him go anyway. This is the truth about David Montgomery. He might run for 224 yards, or he might run for 68 yards. You never know what you're going to get out of David Montgomery. He's completely inconsistent, but he's also, that being said, really hard to tackle, really hard to bring down, really hard to judge, period. I'm taking the Lions over the Falcons. All right, we got the Vikings versus the Chargers. This is interesting because the Chargers are actually a really good team, and Justin Herbert looks really, really sharp, really nice, young, consistent quarterback. But I just told you guys that Kirk Cousins is leading the league in almost everything. And when you break down what a quarterback is, he's smacking the NFL around. He's 0-2, and he's still putting up better numbers than everybody playing. I'm going with the Vikings. They're not going to keep on losing these games. Eventually, they're going to quit fumbling the football. If it weren't for the running backs, they would be undefeated. They are fumbling the ball every other time they get hit. And the problem is they have a three-man rotation, a lot like the Chicago Bears are doing the same thing, by the way. And almost every NFL team does this nowadays. This is the way the league has evolved. They've got three guys running the ball. So with that being said, when these guys are coming in and out and you're in a groove and you're running good and you're blocking good for one guy, well, the other guy, he might not be as quick or have the understanding of his holes and not knowing how to hold the ball. So the Vikings are beating themselves. Keep that in mind, everyone. The Vikings are not getting beat. They are beating themselves. So I'm taking, again, the Vikings over the Chargers. Here we go. We got the Packers versus the Saints. Guess who I'm going to take? I'm taking Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. They just lost Sunday against the Falcons only by a point, and Jordan Love is looking like he's cream of the crop. Jordan Love is looking really good, really sharp. I almost regret being happy that Aaron Rodgers left because it's like I wished that they had a crappy quarterback to the point where they're never going to have a crappy quarterback. Jordan Love is looking like the real deal. I'm taking Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers over the New Orleans Saints. Moving forward, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Houston Texans. If you guys have been watching my show, you already know Trevor Lawrence is my fantasy quarterback. Therefore, I am rooting for the Jacksonville Jaguars to beat the Houston Texans. Moving forward, we got the Broncos versus the Dolphins. I'm taking Russell Wilson and the Broncos, who aren't starting out very good, who are getting their asses kicked, who are 0-2, and just lost to the Washington Commanders. And you've seen Russell Wilson throw a freaking prayer for a 2-point conversion try. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on, and yet I'm still picking the Broncos to win that game. How you doing? The Broncos over the Dolphins. All because, first of all, I don't like Tua Tagovailoa. I'm very verbal about that. Also, this might be the best defense that the Dolphins have had to play so far in the season. We're early. This is only week 3. They haven't really played a good defense yet. That changes this Sunday. They will play a good defense in the Denver Broncos. And I do think that concussion protocol that I keep on bringing up, I think that's finally going to come to light. I think that the 2-0 Dolphins go 2-1, and the Broncos finally get their first victory. They will be 1-2 Denver Broncos over the Miami Dolphins. Moving forward, we got the Titans versus the Browns. Now, I'm picking the Titans to win this game, but I'm going to give you guys an explanation why. The Browns had just lost Nick Chubb last night, and they said it's a season-ending injury. They didn't really give up what the injury is yet. Maybe they have. Maybe I haven't done enough homework. I was doing quarterback stats all day today, and I was hunting for week 2 stats all day today, so I really don't know how severe the injury is, but I do know that it's a season-ending injury for Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb were playing this game, I would have went with the Browns to win this game, But without Nick Chubb, they proved last night they would have won last night. They lost last night to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they would have won had Nick Chubb not went down. Keep that in mind. What was hoping to be the Browns' first year to win their divisions in 20, 30 years, all their dreams went down the fucking drain last night when they lost Nick Chubb. Excuse my language again. I'm sorry for dropping the F-bomb, but they took a severe loss by losing Nick Chubb. I think everyone that knows football and watches football and understands football and love real running backs, they all understand what the hell I'm talking about. Nick Chubb is the real deal, and now he's not in the league because of a very nasty hit last night. So again, I'm taking the Titans over the Browns. We got the Bills versus the Commanders. This is shocking. Why? Because the Commanders are undefeated. They're 2-0. And the Bills are 1-1. Well, guess who I'm taking? I'm taking the Bills and Josh Allen. It's no question. It's not even a debate. You got Josh Allen. You got Stephon Diggs. Who you think I'm going with? You got a celebrated and decorated defense. I'm taking the Bills over the Commanders, and the Commanders take their first loss. How you doing? We got the Ravens versus the Colts. Well, I don't think that the Colts' defense can beat the Ravens' offense. I don't think that a rookie, Anthony Richardson, can compete with a veteran 7-year, 8-year vet and Lamar Jackson. So I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Colts, and the Baltimore Ravens will be looking to be 3-0. Even though I said they're going to be the worst team in their division, they are the only undefeated team in that division. So far, I've been wrong. So far, like I said, this is week 3. Give it some time. Let the Bengals get hot, and we'll see what's going on later in the road. Now, we got the Seahawks versus the Panthers. Again, I'm taking the veteran Geno Smith. I'm taking the Seahawks versus the Carolina Panthers. Of course. Although I will say this, Bryce Young is looking really nice. Carolina's got a nice looking stud rookie quarterback, and they almost won their game last night against the Saints, and probably it could be said that they should have won that game versus the Saints. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of NFL inside news that you may or may not even know. Tariq the Freak Cohen had just signed a deal to go to the Carolina Panthers. He will be active this week. He was not active last night because the deal got done on Sunday. I think it got done Sunday night. So, I mean, there was no way they can activate him 24 hours after signing him. But mark my words, he will be active Sunday, so that'll be a game changer. It doesn't change my mind on who's going to win the game. I'm just letting you guys know, giving you guys a little bit of insight. And I'm going to break this down for you. So outside of their rookie quarterback, that's the only part of their team that does not look good. I just told you they got Tariq the Freak Cohen. So they got Tariq Cohen. They got Adam Thielen, who is aged, but still lightning fast and can catch anything you throw at him. He's proven that. Just go ask Kirk Cousins. I'm pretty sure Kirk Cousins would take Adam Thielen back right now. And they got Miles Sanders, the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles for like the last 3 years. Now all of a sudden is in Carolina. They got potential. Carolina Panthers have a okay defense. I'm not going to say they have a dominant defense, but they have a fast defense, a very fast defense. They might be someone to watch within the next couple of years, just not right now. Right now, they got to get their rookie ready. Once their rookie's ready, you might want to consider starting rooting for Carolina because what they're trying to build is looking good on paper. Like I said, they almost beat the Saints last night. Same thing week 1, they almost beat the Falcons, so they're almost undefeated. That almost is what they call growth. They're growing, they're learning, they're gelling. They are going to be something in the future. I'm just telling you that right now. So when they're good in the next couple of years, you heard it from me first. Watch out for Carolina in the next couple of years. Again, okay, so moving forward, we got the Chiefs versus the Bears. Well, I pretty much give up on my quarterback, Justin Fields. So I'm pretty much picking the Chiefs to beat me. And I told you guys I was picking the Bears every week, no matter what. And obviously, I made that out to be a lie because I'm not going to say we're going to beat the Chiefs. Although, the way the NFL works, you usually win the games you're supposed to lose. So, if the Bears win, I won't be surprised and I will be happy. But I'm just saying, as far as on paper goes, and knowing that Travis Kelce will be on the field Sunday, And knowing that we're going to Kansas City, this is going to be a game on the road. We're not playing at home. And it doesn't matter because we got our asses kicked by Green Bay at home, just saying. The smart money is the Chiefs are going to beat the Bears. The Bears are going to start out 0-3 after all that money we spent. We are the highest spent team this offseason. We spent $170 million building a team, and we're going to start the season 0-3 because we don't have a quarterback. We just think we do. Keep that in mind. Now, we got the Cowboys versus the Cardinals. Of course, I'm picking the Cowboys. The Cardinals suck. I think the Cardinals are going to be amongst the league's worst teams in the NFL. I've been saying that. I'm going to continue to say that. There's nothing good about Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals need to be sold to a different state. They need to be, the whole team needs to change. The coaches need to change. The state needs to change. The team needs to change. The quarterback needs to change. That team fucking sucks. So I will not pick them ever. And in all 18 weeks, I will be against the Cardinals. How you doing? And that you can take to the bank. Moving forward, we got the Raiders versus the Steelers. Jimmy Garoppolo versus Kenny Pickett. Well, who do you think I'm going to pick? I'm picking the Raiders. I'm picking Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm picking a decorated and a glorified veteran who's only been in the league. Okay, I can't say only been in the league. He's been a starting quarterback for 9 years, but he's been in the league for 12. This is year 13 for him. It doesn't really matter because, like I said, for the first 3 years, he sat behind Tom Brady. So even though he's like an older guy, he's the best of the older guys. So who are you talking about, Eric? What do you mean the older guys? I'm talking about guys like Matthew Stafford. I'm talking about guys like Russell Wilson. I'm talking about guys like Geno Smith. I'm talking about there's no way I would pick any 3 of those guys over Jimmy Garoppolo. He's the best at as far as 13 years in the league, as far as veterans are concerned, and that puts him up there with Kirk Cousins. I know Kirk Cousins is leading the league in everything right now, and I would still take Jimmy Garoppolo over all of them. I'm picking the Raiders. The Bucks versus the Eagles. Now let's talk about this. This is going to be interesting, and the reason why I want to talk about this is because first, week 1, Eagles versus the Patriots. Eagles looked sloppy, and they got the win, the W. Week 2, the Eagles versus the Vikings. They got ugly. They got sloppy. They had to generate a college game scheme to win. Again, did not look so good. So in week 3, you would think they knocked off all the rust. All the dust is gone. They're already undefeated, looking ugly. Obviously, they're going to beat the Buccaneers, right? Right? Not by my standard. I'm picking the Bucks to beat the Eagles, and the Eagles losing their first game finally because it looks like they should be 0-3 already, and they're 2-0 by magic and by play calling and by luck. And luck eventually runs out in the NFL. There's never been a team built in the NFL based on luck and be dominant. They are not what they look like, and I'm picking the Bucks to beat them this weekend. Go Baker. I told you guys you're going to hear that all year long. I ain't playing around. I really like Baker Mayfield. I really think he's the real deal. I wish he was my quarterback. I'd give up Justin Fields right fucking now. If Tampa Bay wants to get on the phone and say, hey, I'll take Fields, you take Baker. Deal's done by the Coughlin standard. Now, the last game on schedule, so I'm assuming this is the Monday Night Football game. I don't know that for sure. It's just the way the schedule was broke down. This was the last game I got wrote down, so usually that means it'll be the Monday night game. We got the Bengals versus the Rams. Well, if you know me, you know my pick. I'm picking the Bengals. I already told you guys, I'm a two-way fan. I'm a diehard Bears fan. I'm a Bears fan. However, for whatever reasons, from the age of 13 to 35, I've rooted for Cincy. I'm rooting for Cincy again. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Rams. I'm going with Joe Burrow, who hasn't proven himself yet this year. Okay, you can't say that he hasn't proven nothing. He's proven a lot. He's already competed in a Super Bowl. He's competed in 2 AFC championships. He's got a slow start into the season, but this happens. You're talking about the NFL. You're talking about an extended 18-week season. The Bengals will get it figured out. They will get on track, and they will start winning games, and they're going to have to beat good teams. And I don't even think the Rams is considered a good team, so guess what? I'm picking Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals to finally get on track this week and beat the living hell out of the Rams. I'm going to say it's going to be a blowout. First of all, Joe Burrow looked good versus the Ravens this weekend. I'm going to tell you that 27-24, they lost by a field goal. So that was a nice bounce back game and a game they should have won. So that's two games that they should have won. They're 0-2. They should be 2-0. They should be looking to be 3-0. And I'm looking for them to be 1-2. I'm picking the Bengals to beat the Rams. How are you doing? So now we're only 20 minutes in, and usually we run at least a 30-minute segment. So we're going to have to break a few things down. This is what we're going to break down a little bit. We're going to talk about what's going on with the Chicago Bears in general. Because like I said this on the very first week's, breakdown, when I broke down all the quarterback numbers and I said we might be in trouble. This is what I'm talking about. So it has already been proven that we haven't won a game in statistically a year. Well, 13 games. We've lost 13 straight games. So almost an entire NFL season. If it were the old ways, if it were 16 games like it always has been, except for with the exception of the last two seasons. And that's evolution of life, right? Everything changes. The longer you live, you see changes. Now you see it in professional football. You see it in professional baseball. You see it in every professional sport. Just like everyday life, anything that makes money and generates money will change no matter how many dollars are made. That's just the way life works. I don't understand it. I don't even think it needed to happen. I mean, the NFL's been around for 50 years. Why change it the last two, right? For 48 years, it was perfect. And then you're going to find a way to change a perfect game? I don't know about it. However, it is what it is. But let's talk about this for a second. So Mitchell Trubisky, who everyone seems to have a problem with, and Matt Nagy, who everyone seemed to have a problem with, guess what they did? They won our division. And they won games. And they didn't lose 13 straight games. And they didn't fumble the fucking ball. And they didn't get sacked. Mitch might have got sacked a couple of times here and there through his whole entire Chicago career. He has got sacked less than Justin Fields did his rookie year. We're talking about a guy who was the most sacked quarterback his rookie year. We're talking about a guy who was the most sacked quarterback his sophomore year. We're talking about a guy in the second week of the NFL brand new season. He is the second most sacked quarterback in the last two games. The only person that's been sacked more than him is Sam Howell, and ironically so, the Commanders are undefeated, so they don't even care that their quarterback's getting killed. They're still winning games. So the question is, how many more games are we going to lose in Chicago, or even on the road, or as Bears, period? How many more times are we going to lose before we decide that we have to look for a quarterback? Because let me tell you what happened to Mitchell Trubisky. Not only did he take us to the playoffs and win our division, he lost his job for absolutely no reason other than they wanted to draft a quarterback. Newsflash, they drafted Mitch Trubisky. And newsflash, he was a number one, or not number one, he was a first round draft pick. I think he was like number 4 overall. Number 4 overall, and we got rid of him just for Justin Fields. So we pissed away our future, and we pissed away our franchise, and we pissed away, sorry about that, I don't know what just happened, but I got louder, and it was a big bang, so that was really weird. I got connection problems. I didn't mean to turn away from my mic, but this is very expensive equipment, so I had to take a look at it. Bear with me. But either which way, what we're talking about is we had, outside of, and our defense, people was like, oh, well, we had Khalil Mack, and we had Roquan Smith, and we had Roquan Smith, and Khalil Mack, and we had, what was the big tight end or defensive end we had that we got rid of, which really he come over from Dallas, and I didn't really think that he was really that good anyway, but we let him go last year. We had a good-looking defense. But we did have a trash offense, and that's what people are not talking about. So we had Allen Robinson, who led the league in drop passes 3 years in a row, and we kept him anyway, even though he led the league in drop passes. No one talked about that, all right? Outside of that, we had, who was our running backs at the time? We had Tariq Cohen. We had David Montgomery, who was unproven, and we had Khalil Herbert, who's still on the team. See, everyone's like, they're like, oh, yeah, Herbert's good. Well, Herbert's been around, so if you didn't know that, you know that now. Herbert was on the team when we had Tariq Cohen, and we had David Montgomery. This is just evolution of the team. He's been on the team. He's been around. That's why he got the starting job. It's not that we think that he's better than Roschon Johnson, because by statistics and by production, he is not better than Roschon Johnson, but he got the starting job anyway. It is what it is. That's just the way that the NFL plays out and is working out, especially in Chicago. They give people jobs that they don't even deserve, and that is a huge problem. Chicago has a huge problem. Justin Fields isn't the only one that's a huge problem, though. He's the majority. I'll say this. He is the main reason why we're losing, and he's never the reason when we win. All right, when we do win, when we do look good, you have to gratify the defense. So it can be, and the kicker. I'll tell you this: Cairo Santos might be the most impressive player on our football team, and he's our fucking kicker. He's we had very good luck with having kickers. Let me tell you, Robbie Gould, who was on our team for I'm just going to spit out a number. I could be wrong. You can step me later, but I'm just going to throw this out there. I think Robbie Gould was our kicker for 13 years. And for 13 years, he was the most accurate kicker in the NFL. Now, that being said, we have Cairo Santos. This is Cairo Santos' 4th year as a Chicago Bear. He's been the most accurate kicker for the last 3 seasons. So when it comes to special teams, and I've been touching on this, and I've been bragging on this, and I've been prying on this all the time, 33% of the game. You hear me say it. When it comes to kicking the ball, we do it very well at a very accurate clip, and we have been ever since we've been a franchise. We have great kickers. The problem is, we outside of Jay Cutler, we've never had a franchise quarterback. And maybe we could have, if we would have gave Kyle Orton more time, maybe Kyle Orton would become somebody for the Chicago Bears, but we didn't give him time, right? We gave it to Rex Grossman, who embarrassed us. And then we've struggled until we got Jay Cutler. And then everyone hated him, even though he was successful. And then we struggled after Jay until we got Mitchell Trubisky, who was successful, but everybody hated him. Now, we have Justin Fields, who everybody loves, who is not successful. So, the biggest question for all Chicago Bears fans, and the hugest question in my heart and on my mind, is how much longer is this going to go on? Are we going to go another season and miss the playoffs and only win 5 games and make excuses and blame the defense and blame the coaches? First of all, let me tell you something. We have a very serious sickness in Chicago. We love to point the finger at the coach. Matt Nagy. Everyone said, oh, Matt Nagy's not the guy for the job. Do you know where Matt Nagy is right now? He's the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, who went to the Super Bowl last year and won it, who has been consistently going to the Super Bowl. And this isn't like, oh, he just went there. He was there last year and the year before that. And the year before that, for the last 3 seasons, he's been the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator. And guess what? When he was in Chicago, everybody hated him. They love him in Kansas City. So, was he a problem? Probably not. Was Mitchell Trubisky a problem? Probably not. Those guys as a duo, as a coach and quarterback tandem, won our division, brought us to the playoffs, and everybody trash talked them out of our city. And look at us now. Since we've lost Matt Nagy, since we lost Mitchell Trubisky, we have won a whopping 3 games. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you think like me, if you like what you heard and enjoyed what you see, always feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're feeling generous, always feel free to cash at me, Erick Coughlin, #Coughlin Pride. You guys have a good day.